Hello everyone and welcome to Harv's World for another episode of Ischia Farm. Welcome to a very early morning in Italy. I am just out, as is my morning habit, of checking our crops. We have some lovely sorghum coming in here. I wouldn't be surprised if that's not ready sometime today, if I'm honest. And look at this. This almond grove. These almond trees are starting, or bushes or shrubs or whatever you want to call them, they are starting to bloom quite nicely. So we should have some almonds here pretty darn soon. Those are so nice, I almost wish I would have planted more. But it is what it is. And moving right along, I do need to take a minute to welcome some new people to the channel. I would like to say welcome to S. Thurman, Chris Forsyth, Timothy Ertel, PewDiePie Jr. number 6, Beaky 58, Joseph T. Sellinger III, Aiden Haynes, and Vitali 201. Welcome to the channel, everyone. Thank you for subscribing. I very much appreciate it. I really do. You can see that we've got a canola field here that's ready to harvest. And we're going to need that because we need more pig food badly. I have run the pig food maker completely out. No more oil seed, no more pig food. The pigs have all of the food that I can give them at the moment. So I need to get this canola in, but as you can see back here, oddly enough, there's one thin strip that's just not quite ready. So that's going to have to hold up for a little bit. And our cornfield is starting to grow up quite nicely. Very nicely indeed. As you can see when I peek up over this hill. Yep, right here. I did get that corn planted. It is good to go for the most part. There's a weird strip up here on the edge of this field that's just not quite growing normally. And I remember having this problem with that part when we first did this, probably the first episode when I was harvesting sorghum. We had sorghum on that field when the map was created, and there was some strangeness right along that edge at that time also. But this being one day close to Thanksgiving, at least here in the United States, and I realize there are many people who watch this my videos from all over the world. In the United States, day after, actually tomorrow, since I'll be posting this video on Wednesday, tomorrow we will be celebrating Thanksgiving in the United States. And so one of the many things about Thanksgiving that or at least one of the reasons behind Thanksgiving is to give thanks for a successful harvest. And that's perfect because I've got a lot of harvesting to get done. A lot of harvesting. I need my red grapes. There we go. And so I thought, well, that's the perfect tie-in, right? We've got a lot of harvesting to do. We've got Thanksgiving coming up. Perfect time to do harvesting and be thankful for a successful harvest. And as you can see, we've got a good price finally on our red grapes. So I am going to be running these like crazy today also. But I just wanted to get ready because I need to get some harvesting started here. So I want to, come on now, there we go. I want to get my harvester working on the sunflower field. That's my priority right now. Those sunflowers are set and ready to come in. And they could actually help us out with our pig food also. Depending on how successful that field is, we could have quite a supply of oilseed for our pigs. And I've also got a soybean field, the new field down by the port, that is most likely going to be ready to harvest today also. There's going to be all sorts of harvesting going on here. Loads of harvesting. The only thing we don't have are some Native Americans to join us for this. But maybe, just maybe, one of you out there could foot the bill. So I think I'm going to get started with the worker here on field 27. Get them started on, we'll try 6 headland passes. Generate the field course. That looks pretty good. And drive, little harvester, drive like the wind. So, I just have to ask, how is everyone doing out there? This coronavirus deal has decided to rear its ugly, pathetic, disgusting head again. Much to everyone's chagrin, I'm absolutely certain. Very frustrating. So I hope everyone is staying safe. I know that this is going to cause difficulties for a lot of people in the U.S. Getting to see their families on Thursday. Some of you may throw caution to the wind and say, we're doing it anyway, and others may say, we should play it safe, whichever you choose to do. Try to be as safe as possible. I'm not going to sit here and lecture you about the dangers. God knows we've had to hear it over and over and over again already. And I really do hope you get to see, or at least call and speak with your family so that you can show them the appreciation they deserve on Thanksgiving as well. Let's see how these grapes are going to get us sorted out today. The Van Horns finally decided to open their wallets a little bit, even in the midst of this recession. Almost 36,000 a trailer load, and I have got 230,000 liters of red grapes. So that's going to require me to haul 5.5 trailer loads basically at 36,000. I don't know, we'll make some money. I don't have any math in me right now. 36 times 5, somewhere around 200,000-ish. That's the best math I got going for me at the moment. So I am going to keep my harvester working. I'm going to keep delivering grapes. And I'll check back in with you when I get this last trailer hauled up there. Talk to you in a minute. All right, this is the last load of grapes coming in up here. Just over 20,000 liters left to sell. Well, to deliver, sell, transferring money back and forth. But whatever it takes to get this farm out of debt, that's been my goal from the beginning. Even though I've spent quite a bit of money, to be fair. But I have been focused on paying down that debt. Now, let's take a look. How much did we actually make off those grapes since the Van Horns decided they wanted to open up their wallets? Harvest income for today, 197,000. So not too bad. Not what we were getting before, obviously, but not too bad. Oh, speaking of the Van Horns, I need to take this. Hang on a second. Good morning, Mrs. Van Horn. Yes, yes, I'm aware that the sunflowers are dead, in a manner of speaking. Yes. Well, that's being taken care of right now, actually. I'm in that field, and they're being harvested. We're going to have a lot of sunflower seeds to sell or make pig food out of. Well, it just so happens I just delivered a whole ton of red grapes this morning. I just finished off sending them over. Well, I've got white grapes in the silo, but the price isn't very good right now, so I was gonna... Well, do you want the debt paid off or not? Okay. You'll get your white grapes today. Will you calm down? I mean, you sound like a chicken who's just seen a coyote. You're squawking. You go ahead. Try. You go ahead and try to fire me. I'll have my attorney on you so fast you won't know what hit you. That's right. You heard me. Attorney. Contract. Remember, we have a contract. And as far as I can tell, I have done everything within my power to fulfill that contract. I've increased your land holdings by over $1 million. I've paid off almost $1 million of debt on a farm that you don't know anything about. And all you can do is complain. Well, you can take your opinions and stick them in one of the places on this planet where the sun doesn't shine. What? Where doesn't the sun shine on the planet? Well, I would have to say probably your heart. There's no sunshine on your heart, lady. Okay. Bye. Yeah, sorry about that. You know, sometimes people just don't know how to be reasonable. And frankly, I work hard. I've done the best I can, and all I get is attitude and complaints. And this is not the time for that. Speaking of which, I've got a lot of work I need to get done on this farm today, and I'm not going to let that lady get in my way. So, with that said, apparently I have more grapes to deliver. Although they're not going to pay worth a darn. But I'll be darned if I'm not going to get them over here. Oh yes, absolutely. You know, there are some times in this world where you just have to take a stand. And when you deal with unreasonable people, sometimes that's one of those times. Mrs. Van Horn has been a little bit ridiculous since the beginning of all this, and frankly, I feel like I have handled her fairly well and been nice and pleasant and congenial and whatever else you want to call it. But the camel's back is broken. That was the last straw. You've seen all that I've done. You've seen how hard I worked in the midst of her ridiculous demands, in the middle of a recession. I mean, I'm going to end up paying off probably close to another $300,000 of that $2.5 million loan that they took out to get this farm started. They could have done it with half that amount or less. But that's neither here nor there. I came in, I got it squared away. I haven't even added to the equipment that much. Just a little bit here and there, things that we need, like for the pigs. But their land holdings alone have more than doubled. So I really don't know what she's whining about. Well, truth is, she's just spoiled and entitled, and because she's rich, nobody ever stands up to her. And it probably won't end well for me, but you know what? It just did. If nothing else comes out of this, I will have gotten the satisfaction of knowing that I finally stood my ground. Alright, that's enough. We started this off talking about Thanksgiving, and by golly, we are going to give thanks. So far, the sunflowers seem to be harvesting very, very well. I haven't hauled quite a full trailer load over to the silo yet, and I haven't had a chance to check the prices on them yet today. Yeah, look at that, $36,000 for the red grapes. We're only barely making, I mean, we're not even making $24,000 for a trailer load of white. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I haven't even had a chance to check crop prices yet today. I'm pretty sure they're probably down, but we should have a good amount of sorghum. Canola stays. We should have a good amount of soybeans, and we should have a good amount of sunflowers. Now the sorghum for sure will be sold off. The sunflowers and soybeans I could end up making pig food out of. And honestly, the reason that I use canola for the pig food is simply because of volume. That's it. That's the only reason. I need the quantity. Alright, I'm going to haul the rest of these grapes. We'll check in again in a minute. That's the last of Mrs. Van Horn's precious white grapes. And as I suspected, well, as we knew, we can do math most days. Not today for me apparently, but most days we can. So we were at 196, 261. Now we only had half as many white grapes as we did red, but still not a great showing. But we are at almost $300,000, and I do have several more crops to bring in. Now the sunflowers did finish up their harvest. They are complete. So that brings me to question. I need to take a look at my other fields, see where they stand. Two things that I absolutely positively must get done today. The first, I said when the sunflowers came in, I was going to fix this field. Remember how much trouble we've had planting it, seeding it, harvesting it on certain other crops? Well, that's going to get fixed today, no matter what. And the other thing I need to get done is one of my subscribers, Jonathan, who's been a very, very avid supporter of the channel, almost from the very beginning, asked me if I wouldn't do a brief tutorial on how to set up course play. Oh, I thought I was delivering sunflower seeds. Silly me. If I wouldn't do a brief tutorial on how to set up course play so that a baler or a forage wagon or something could go follow the exact same course that the harvester had, so it goes right along and picks up straw. And I promised him I would do that. We've actually in some form done that a little bit already in other episodes, but not specifically this. So I will show you, Jonathan, and everyone else who might be interested, how that applies. It'll be easier if I just look at the map, won't it? So as far as crops go, I just want to see. So that one strip of canola still isn't ready. These guys are close. So close. That's my sorghum down here. This is soybeans. They're close too. Now, speaking of Thanksgiving, one thing I'm thankful for is that we don't have grapes to harvest today. I have to be honest. There has been so much grape harvesting. I'm glad these guys are taking their time. And they can keep taking their time. In fact, I think I insist. Okay, so since nothing's ready to go just yet, I think it's time to work on that field and get it fixed up. but I need our plow. And I've forgotten where I put it because it's not in its normal place. And it's got to be this one right here. And since we're right here by the shop, I should probably just make sure that it is in good working order. Wow. There, that's better. No, that needed repaired in a big way. Okay, good. I didn't really think I had done that much with the plow, but if I'm honest, I genuinely don't remember. This is a good time of day to correct this field too, because the light's hitting it in just such a way that I can see all of the bumps, all of the vile nastiness that needs to come out of here and get fixed. So I'm just going to park up right here. Heck, I don't even need to get out of the tractor for this. I'm going to go into my landscaping tools, and I'm going to bump my paintbrush up as big as it will go, because what I want to do is use the smooth function. That's all I need, is just some smoothing. And I'm going to start right here, and now you can see why I need the plow. I need the plow because anytime you landscape over a pre-made field, it destroys the field. So we're going to have to re-plow this into a field again. But a few minutes extra worth of work will be worth it so that we don't have to deal with the planting headaches anymore. You can almost see that coming up. And if you haven't played with the landscaping tool much, it's actually pretty interesting and powerful. Especially, I find myself using the smooth function more than just about anything else, because it does a nice, easy transition. It's not, if you raise ground or you lower ground, it does it kind of harshly if you're not careful. But the smooth function just does it nice and casual like. And what it really does is it lowers one edge a little bit, raises up the indentation a little bit. That's why I want my brush so big, so that it's capturing everything within it and smoothing it out so there's no bumps, no rough edges. Somebody needs to use the smoothing tool on Harv. Get rid of all the rough edges. God knows I got plenty of them. I think when I redo this field, I'm just going to get rid of that sharp tip right there. It's not enough to affect us that much. We're not going to lose much acreage, and it's kind of a pain in the neck. There's always crop left down there that has to be taken care of. Okay, that's pretty good. It's definitely a lot better than it was. Now I don't need to if I were flattening this, I mean perfectly flat is obviously, taking it to the extreme. But it's also very expensive to completely flatten. That's the other thing about, if I were to try to flatten this whole field, it would probably cost me, I don't know, $100,000 maybe. But to just smooth off some of the rough spots, that's not nearly as big a deal. You can see there's kind of a strip right through here. And we haven't really had any planting issues up here, but better to be safe than sorry. I know I came in down here. There were a couple times when this was having some difficulty right through here. So I'm going to correct that. Yeah, I think that will get this field sorted. We should no longer have any problems whatsoever planting and harvesting along through here now. Yep, I think that'll do it. Okay. And what'd that cost? $4,000? That's not bad at all. No complaints. Okay, now all I got to do is come back in here. Get a nice line, hopefully right here. I'm going to set my plow to create fields, obviously, because that's what we're going to have to do. Drop her down. I'm going to try to keep a nice straight edge here. So I don't need to make the field any wider. I just want to recreate what I already had right along this edge. And I'm mucking it up just a little bit, but it'll do. It'll do me. So now I'm just going to sweep around like so. And this is really about where the edge of that field originated before I started fiddling around with it. This will make this field so much easier to work with. Especially since this is going to be a new grape field. The white grapes are going back in here. Okay. So at this point, all I have to do is finish creating a new field, at least the green part here. So let me get that taken care of, and we'll check back in a minute. All right, there we have it. This field has been recreated, good as new. What I'm kind of debating on at the moment is if I shouldn't just put a worker on this and just plow the whole thing. I think that's probably going to be the best idea. Yep. I know they're going to end up re-plowing all of this stuff that I just plowed, but I've got other work I need to get done. And I remember how our plow got so beat up. It's because I plowed under all of those grapes over there. Yes, that's exactly what had happened. And it's completely slipped my mind. I don't know what was going on there. I'm not sure that I even want to ask. You know, it goes back to that stupid phrase, getting older. And yep, that's good. Start at the first waypoint, Mr. Helper. Yep, I'm just going to let him work on this. Which means I'm going to need the Deutz-Fahr. Working our trailer here. And this is where I'll have the opportunity to show Jonathan exactly how to get that course play set up so that he'll have a helper be able to come in with either a baler or a forage wagon and bale up straw after he harvests his field. And like I said, we have done this in a manner of speaking before. and I'm sure you will easily put two and two together once I show you exactly how this works. You'll be able to see exactly what we have done in the past that is similar to what we're doing now. In fact, I'll even give you a hint. It's about the grapes. But yeah, while our plowing was going on there, all of our fields came in. I knew they were close. I knew they were very, very close. So that's 3 more fields that need to get harvested today. Canola, soybeans, and right now we're going to do the sorghum. So unfold that bad boy, and we'll unfold this bad boy. And I don't know about you, but I think this sorghum field, when it's ready to harvest, just looks amazing. It's such a unique and interesting color. Almost as good as a canola field when it's ready for harvest. Almost. Just, you know, it's something different. That's one of the great things about this map. It's just different enough to stay in. Okay, so I need to set up a course for this field for my harvester to follow. So we're going to do course generation, and I am going to select field 11, and this should work. And we'll try a couple more. Okay, now I'm going to generate the course. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now, the secret here is saving the course. So click on this little, if you don't know what this is, and a lot of you actually probably don't know what this is a floppy disk symbol. Back in the day, there were these things called floppy disks. You actually had to stick them into your computer, and they were only about 1.2 gigabytes each. If you wanted to save something, you had to put it on a floppy disk. Again, there goes Harv dating himself. Anyway, make sure you save the course. So we're going to call this 11 harvest because we're on field 11, and we are going to run our harvester on this. I'm going to position my harvester so that it can start at the start. What a concept. It's going to be right about over here. That'll do. He'll sort himself from that point. Make sure we're starting at the first waypoint and tell him to drive. There he goes. And then we can even look at the course and see exactly where he's going to go, like so. And we have saved this. Because we have saved the course, we can tell any other vehicle doing anything to drive this course. And I need to stop this guy. Stop. I forgot to turn on the straw swather. Okay. Drive at the current waypoint. I hate when I do that. Oh well, it wasn't much. It'll be just enough that just enough that, well, no, I'm not going to bail this. I'm just going to use a forage harvester. But anyway, any other vehicle will follow this exact path. So you get a tractor with a baler behind it, you get a tractor with a straw or a forage wagon behind it. Load this course, which is this button right here. It looks like a little globe. Load this into that tractor. Tell it to drive the course, and it's going to drive the exact same course. That's one of the great things about course play. Once you have a course, you can tell any other vehicle to drive it, or you can save it, and then you don't have to worry about setting up again. You just load the course. The next time you need to harvest your field, bring your harvester in, and boom, Bob's your uncle. You're all set up and ready to go. Easy peasy. So at this point, I think we're going to get this field harvested. I'll be pulling sorghum off as it's harvested because, well, he's over half full already. So I'm going to need to run a tractor and a trailer with this guy. But at this point, I think it'd be best if you just sit back, enjoy a little music, and let us harvest some sorghum. I'll talk to you in just a minute. And that, as they say, is that. Our sorghum by the sea has been harvested. Very nice, very nice. And we got almost 80,000 liters, probably real close to 80,000 liters off this field. That's pretty darn nice. Very nice indeed, actually. Now I need to move this harvester over to my soybean field. I'm going to get it working before I unload this Deutz-Fahr into the silo, because as I suspected, we do not have a good price on sorghum right now. As we're rolling over to is that field 21 now? I think it's field 21 we're calling that. I did want to talk just a little bit more about Thanksgiving. Now, I realize that tomorrow is Thanksgiving here in the United States, but we are not the only country that celebrates Thanksgiving. Now, we obviously don't all do it on the same day, but throughout the year, there's a bunch of different countries that observe Thanksgiving or their version of Thanksgiving. Canada, for example, I believe they celebrate Thanksgiving in early October. again, just after the harvest. Similar fashion to the United States. After all, we all belong to the North American continent, so why not? Brazil, Australia, Grenada, Liberia, the Netherlands. The Netherlands. Yeah, Mrs. Van Horn. She could stand to learn a little something about that. The Philippines has Thanksgiving. Saint Lucia, if you've never heard of that particular country, it's a small one, obviously, but they observe Thanksgiving. And then other countries that have similar observations include Germany, Japan, India, and the United Kingdom. Now, interestingly, since we mentioned the United Kingdom, the United States version of Thanksgiving is actually based in English roots. And I just discovered this myself, and I found it very, very interesting because I'll be honest with you, I kind of have an obsession with Henry VIII. And the observation of days of thanks, or Thanksgivings, goes back to the Reformation of the English Church under Henry VIII. And it was originally a religious observation. In fact, it was such a religious observation that early on in the United States growth, development, whatever you want to call it, well, the states took issue with the federal government trying to mandate Thanksgiving or to give it any kind of federal significance because they considered it an issue of states' rights. Because Thanksgiving is traditionally a religious observation, and the states were demanding the separation of church and state. So basically, 200 plus years ago, politicians were all up in everybody's business over things that nobody necessarily even cares that much about. Things haven't really changed at all in about 200 years. Not in the least. And I was going to put a helper on this so I could get back over there and do some other work. So let's get that started. Course generation. We are on field 18. Yeah, I suppose it'll recognize that. Let's try that at 7 headland passes. See what it tells me. No, it does not like that. So we are going to have to abandon that idea, and this is going to have to be a manual harvest. That's okay. But before I keep going on this field, I do need to get over and take care of my other drivers. So we'll get that taken care of, and we'll get back to harvesting. And the soybeans are in. What do we end up with? Not nearly as much as I thought, but still, 31,000 liters. That's not bad. Not bad for that size of field for soybeans. That's not shabby at all, actually. We'll take it. Now, I have gone ahead and rented a forage wagon. And I know, Jonathan, that it makes you a little bit crazy that I lease equipment sometimes. But trying to get this loan paid off, and this is something, I mean, I haven't used or needed a forage wagon since episode 1. So why would I spend $125,000 when I could just spend $6,000? and put more money on the loan, which I'm going to do here in just a minute. I'm going to pay some of that down just to keep my name in the clear with you know who. We're not even going to say her name. Apparently happy cows give better milk. I can see the I can see that. Happy cows, better milk. And I should have picked up a weight for the Deutzfahr. For some reason the Deutzfahr gets real squirrely when it hauls a trailer. It'll do equipment, you know, just fine, but trailers, it does not like trailers very much. But I wanted to get this forage wagon just to finish up on my little course play tutorial. I think it was pretty self-explanatory, but some people need visual aids, and I don't always know who those people are, so visual aid it's going to be. So I got my forage wagon. I'm going to bring it over here, roll it up into field 11, getting our course play open. We're going to say field work, course generation. Actually, no, not course generation. We are going to manage courses. We've got 11 harvest. I want to load that course in. And I will even show the course, which is going to follow our lines of straw, and God knows we have no shortage of straw. And all I have to do now is tell this person to drive course. He's going to activate that forage wagon, and he's going to follow the exact same path that our harvester did. And if you'll recall, I did not have the straw swath turned on back here, so that's why there's no straw at the moment. But that's all there is to it. Just make sure you save the course from your harvester, and you can apply it to any other tool or implement. Easy as pie. Now, before he gets too much farther, stop. Thank you. I wanted to see if sorghum straw would work for our pigs. That was kind of the reason that I put sorghum in. Now, because this is 50-50, I wasn't sure. Still not sure. Won't be for another minute or two. I put a backup plan into place. I'd taken a contract to harvest somebody's wheat, and they were not interested in the straw that was left behind, so I threw it in my silo. It wasn't theft. I didn't steal the straw. They were going to leave it and do nothing with it. And this most certainly is not triggering, so, as I suspected, but hoped for the best, sorghum straw is not going to work for animals. It's its own special breed of straw, and the only thing we can do is sell it. So I will gather all this up, and rather than hang on to it, I'll probably just get rid of it. What's it going for these days anyway? We have to sell it at the ranch because it's loose. 70 per 100. I'll take that. I'll absolutely take that. So really, all there's left to do today, I need to get this canola off, but other than that, we've got all of our fields harvested up, with the exception of canola. Only thing left to do is keep picking up straw, get the soybeans back into the silo, because none of our prices are good enough for sale today. Oh, and I said I was going to do this, and I'm doing it. 1.7 million. We've got almost 300,000. I'm going to pay this down. There we go. 1.45, well, $1,450,000 left on the loan. We have paid off $1,050,000. Ha. Take that, Mrs. Van Horn. Anyway, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I would like to say thank you to my friends and family who are always so supportive. Let them know how grateful I am, how thankful I am that I have them in my life. I'd also like to say that I'm very thankful for each and every one of you. I appreciate you watching my content, for your comments, your feedback, everything that you do to keep the channel moving forward. I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you. If you're in the U.S., I sincerely hope you have a fantastic holiday tomorrow with friends and family as much as possible. If you know somebody who doesn't have anyone to spend the holiday with, reach out to them. Give them a phone call. Take them a plate of food. Remind them that they're not alone. But I think that's going to do it for this episode of Ischia Farm. Until next time, take care.